And I'm John.
And we are back to start another Marvel show. We're going to be covering She-Hulk, available on Disney Plus. It dropped yesterday, August 18th, which just happened to be my 48th birthday. I've done this shit 48 times, y'all. 48 years. Sorry. The number just like, I don't know if you could tell, it just sat on my chest for a second.
That's 7 pounds of pressure.
Will you shut up? So it's the fact that you said, if you watch P-Valley, you got that reference. But I will say, I was actually going to talk about P-Valley when we shoot the shit for a second. But before we do, just to be clear, She-Hulk, first episode, season 1, episode 1, A Normal Amount of Rage. Is that the correct title?
Yeah.
I think so, right? I have no notes because we watched it yesterday morning, and then I got sick. And you guys, yeah, I'm probably not okay, but that's for another podcast. I don't even want to talk about it because it is kind of serious, I think, and I don't want to hear your mouths. Y'all be on Twitter. Are you okay? You should go get that checked out. Shut up. So, yeah, I had an issue yesterday morning while we were watching it, and I rewatched the end, like, because my issue started towards the end, and I just didn't really remember a lot of the episode. So I rewatched the end of the episode thinking, you're going to have to watch it one more time for notes, and I just never got around to it. We're recording the day after it premiered, Friday, August 19th, and we're recording kind of earlier in the day than we typically do because John has also been on vacation this week. And so, yeah, I don't have a lot of notes for it, but I don't think a lot of notes are required. So before we get into that, though, I don't have a lot to shoot the shit about. I remembered something that I was going to bring up the last time we recorded, and I forgot. It came to me after we were done, so I'm going to bring that up. And something just super silly. So I'll start with the super silly thing first because Donnie said it. Or no, John, you said it when you were talking about how you don't like to, if we're going to be recording for 2 different shows, you don't want to watch like the second one we're going to record before we've recorded for the first. So for instance, we're doing Paper Girls tomorrow, 2 episodes. And you were saying you didn't want to watch those 2 episodes that we're recording for tomorrow. You didn't want to watch those until we talked about She-Hulk.
Yeah.
You kind of want to get that She-Hulk out your head, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can if it's necessary. Like, I don't have the brain of a goldfish, but but I usually don't. I try not to.
It's listen, I've done it. I've talked about like 3 different shows in one day podcasting, and it's a lot. I get it. It's just, sometimes you got to kind of be in the right kind of frame of mind to talk about certain shows, especially depending on like maybe what the content
yeah, like
is.
if there's like, because I think there was a time me and you were recording like 3 sci-fi shows, but it would, like, I kept like, it was back when we were doing.
We were doing like Foundation,
it was
and
just,
it was a lot.
Yeah, it was Foundation is something else, which just they were kind of similar in ways, and that was.
I had to like, we were doing Foundation, I think like Wheel of Time and something else.
Yeah,
and I just remember the notes. It was a lot.
Yellow Jackets, I think, around that time.
But like Donnie, like with the thing with Foundation, which is a really good series on Apple Plus TV. It's already been renewed. We covered the first season. It's all available over on Patreon. But with Foundation, it was super confusing, and it spans a lot of time and a lot of planets, and and it's like mathematical equations and science terms that just like the average person doesn't talk about daily, I guess. So I definitely remember one episode in particular, you were like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. And I was like, all right, just shut up. I got you.
Wheel of Time was the same way, too.
I had to, like, walk him through it. I was like, okay, so now we're over in this part of the world where these people do this.
Mm-hmm. And then Wheel of Time, here's 30 characters. That
yes,
characters,
oh my God. And then all their names are just whimsical and weird. It's just ridiculous. But speaking of that, I was agreeing with John. Like, I understand that for the reasons I just said, but also, you guys know I binged the 2 seasons, the only 2 seasons available so far, of P-Valley, a show on Stars. And we both binged it over this last weekend. And then I watched... Okay, and so in case you don't know, it takes place in a strip club. P-Valley is set in a strip club in a small town in Mississippi called Chucalissa. And it is very queer. It is very black. It is very ratchet. It is very southern. It is a part of the black experience that is often not shown. And it's a really good show. But keeping all those things in mind, just imagine me binging 18 episodes of that in like 3 days. And then watching a show like Extraordinary Attorney Woo about a woman with autism, who the first attorney with autism in the country of South Korea. And it's sweet and wholesome. And I found myself like watching it, and a character, would be like, you shouldn't talk to her like that. And I'd be like, that's right, don't talk to her like that, bitch. What the fuck you think this is? And I had to like tone it down a little bit and go back to like not talking like that. But I get it. I've had P-Valley brain for like a week now, and it has definitely bled into the way I talk about other stuff. So, as always, though, I do want to remind you guys that the website is up. And that's where you need to be going to check the schedule, to see when things are being released. As changes occur, I update it immediately, so it's always up to date. And another reminder, if you forgot, that if you want to send in feedback for this show or any other show that we're covering on the podcast, from now on you need to send it to feedback@projectfandom.com. I check that email address, and I will be reading the feedback directly from there on the air. We don't have a feedback post up on Patreon, never did for the show, because we are transitioning to email-only feedback. So if you were wondering, or in the future, how many episodes is this? 6? 8? 6?
I think 8.
8?
I think so, yeah.
That's a lot. Shit, Hawkeye only got 6, right?
Yeah, but wasn't Hawkeye like an hour long?
I think Hawkeye was an hour. These are only half hours.
I didn't even... Yeah, that's right. I forgot that. Even when John was like, I'm going to watch it and then we can record it in half an hour. And I was like, how? I thought he was like, the show is only 30 minutes. I was like, oh, okay, I forgot. The other thing I wanted to mention, we were talking about things that we had watched, and it was like something I watched and I couldn't remember. You guys know how I am with, I get sentimental with shows. And if I watch a show and then like stop watching it, if the show is canceled or when it ends, if it's known ahead of time, I try to tune in for the end. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm like that, but I just do. I like the endings. So, Better Call Saul is a show that I never watched. I don't think. No. I think I did. I think I did try a few episodes in the first season, and it just really wasn't for me. And I don't doubt that it's not as good or as amazing as everyone seems who has watched it says it is. I believe you. It just didn't grab me, and I had no plans on like ever going back.
And it was being when it first premiered, right? It was being recapped on the site.
Right, I was getting to that. Yes. So just like someone asked me about Lucifer, and I was like, yeah, same thing. These are shows that I used to watch, but then if they were covered on the site, and I believe Rex was doing the weekly reviews for Better Call Saul, I would go through and edit for typos and stuff. So I knew what was happening on the show up until, he stopped covering it or we stopped covering it. So same thing. It's like I follow what's happening. I see things on Twitter. So with the end of Better Call Saul this past Monday night was the series finale. For the past 3 weeks, we'd kind of been tuning in because they were catching up to where we last saw him at the end of Breaking Bad. Yeah. And I was really interested in that. And so obviously I'm not going to spoil anything, but with the last 3 episodes, they were doing just like they did with Breaking Bad. Do you remember the final season of Breaking Bad, whenever we got like those flash forwards, it was in black and white. Do you remember that? Because we knew, oh, this is after some things we've already seen. They did the same thing. And so
so they went to the end of Breaking Bad.
They went past
the end of Breaking Bad.
Wow.
Yeah. So and just I have a feeling most people might understand what I'm saying, even if they've never watched it. But just to be clear, Saul Goodman was a character introduced in the TV show Breaking Bad, and then when the show ended, the character fate, there was a fate that we knew that he had, right? But Better Call Saul was a prequel series that showed us how he became the man we met in Breaking Bad. And then, so of course, there were characters brought in that we knew from Breaking Bad, characters that were introduced in Breaking Bad and died in Breaking Bad, played a big role in Better Call Saul. And then in these last 2 or 3 episodes of the series over the past couple of weeks, they were doing the thing where we were getting the flash forward. So it was Saul's life. It was just getting to the point where he met Walter. And they showed us that. So we got some Walter, we got some Jesse. And they were scenes that they filmed specifically for this. So it's not like, it would be something like, a scene in Breaking Bad ended here, but now here in Better Call Saul, we're going to see what happened before we joined that scene or after that scene ended, that type of thing. And it included, like I said, Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul. But then they would do the thing where it would show you stuff in black and white, and it's like, oh, this is after he went working at Cinnabon. And so that's
spoiler alert.
Yeah, right. That's the stuff that I was really, really, really interested in. And the funny thing is, now this is a little spoilery, so if you think that Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul is something that you might want to get into, skip ahead. If you are into Better Call Saul and have not yet watched the finale, skip ahead. What I thought was really interesting for me, because I completely forgot that at the end of Breaking Bad, he wasn't in witness protection. I don't know why. I think it's because of the Cinnabon thing. I thought, oh, he's in witness protection. Like my brain.
Yeah, he was just
he was in hiding.
I'm protecting myself.
Yes. So in those flash forwards, you see what he was up to while he was like living as this assumed identity, and it was nothing good. And then it just even goes beyond that. And then there were some more cameos, people that, I guess I could say it because it's not a spoiler, but like Marie is in the last episode. And then I think some of the I want to say like whoever Hank's boss was or somebody like, high up in law enforcement. I think that actor is somebody we'd seen before in Breaking Bad. But it was really good. So I bring all that up to say that it was really, really good, and I got exactly what I think I get out of doing stuff like this, is that I get that kind of melancholy, sentimental sadness that, like I was like, oh, this is how Saul's story ends. It was a little that type of thing, a character that I was way heavily more invested in Breaking Bad, just like seeing where he ended up, after all of that. Not necessarily anything you learned in this series because I didn't watch it. It was, it got to me. I was like, oh, it was very well done though. Like from what I've seen, it deserved all the praise that it's been getting.
Yeah, I plan on, now that it's so, because I watched like the first season and then I didn't go back just because it came back on and I just didn't watch it. But I planned once it was finished to go back and
you should. It's good. And you'll appreciate the little, just the stuff. I've never seen El Camino. Did you guys watch that?
No.
Yeah, I didn't really have I don't think it was reviewed very highly. I don't feel like I heard a lot of good word of mouth from, like our folks in the group that really like Breaking Bad. So that kind of made it something for me that was like, I'm interested, but I'll get to it when I get to it. Like, if people have been, like, raving about it and stuff, I would have watched it by now. But I feel like it's like, there.
Did they ever go back and get Huel?
So, apparently...
From that motel?
How long you gonna be?
They did
Apparently,
answer,
I don't know what the answer is, though, because So one of the final episodes, we had like a bit of an issue where it was like Donnie and I watched one of them just no problem. Like just fired it up off of, what was it? We couldn't remember what app we were in. That's the thing. But so then the next Monday, I was like, oh, I'm going to watch the next, because I knew it was like, this would have been the penultimate episode. So the next, the second to last episode, the next to last episode, then the finale. So we watched the second to last episode together. The next Monday I went to watch the penultimate, and it was like live viewing, and the episode had been on for like 20 or 30 minutes. And the prior episodes would like, I could watch them, but I'd have to pay for them. So I was thinking, well, fuck, this episode that's on now, once it's done live airing, for me to watch it in full, I'll probably have to buy it. And I was like, I know we didn't buy last week's episode, so I don't think we ever figured that out, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how it worked.
Like maybe we were on Hulu or something. But anyway, so the penultimate episode, I only saw the last half hour of it. And apparently, in that first half hour, I don't think Huel is in it, but apparently they talk about what happened to him. Yeah. And like there was certain stuff like
that's good. I'm glad.
Yeah, and I want to say like the characters just in case like somebody really is thinking about going back to watch Breaking Bad, but I know you two will know what I'm talking about. There were two characters who were killed and like buried somewhere, and the way the show ended, it was kind of like in passing, like I'll tell you where you can find them or something like that. Where in this, at the end of Better Call Saul, you get more like into that, you know, with the presence of Marie and stuff, which I thought was good because, you know, those characters didn't deserve that, you know? So anyway, really, really good. And it's done. And then they did it was like towards the end of the episode, so it was like maybe 10-15 minutes left. During one of the commercial breaks, it was like Saul and Gus may be done, but Bob and Giancarlo are just getting started. And then it was like, I don't know if it was like Pariah or I can't remember the name of the show starring Giancarlo is coming to AMC, and then Bob Odenkirk has a show coming to AMC. And at one, like, there was like a brief moment where I kind of like read that wrong, and I thought, are they doing 2 more Breaking Bad films? Like, I really thought. I was like, how far back are we going?
Nah, he said.
But then I realized that they had said the actors' names, and that these were, I guess, new shows that they're going to be doing.
The creator had said that he's not going back to this universe. That he wants to go back to the X-Files type of stuff that he did before that.
Vince Gilligan?
Yeah, because I did. That's where he started.
Yeah,
with X-Files,
yeah.
so he wants to go back to that type of genre.
Yeah, I feel like he's, you know, I mean, I'm sure there are some people that would like disagree because, and I mean people who work with the show. You know, there's always like some side characters. Like I could get a spinoff. It's like no, Nacho. Nobody.
Yeah, I could get a paycheck.
Right. Like sure, why not? There's always more stories to tell in this area. What was it, Albuquerque, New Mexico, or whatever? But I think they're done.
How about the pizza delivery man?
Good run, though. Right? He lost his job. How's it at? And wasn't there like one? In Breaking Bad, didn't Walt buy a car for his son? And then, like, when he was doing that shit where he was trying to, like, get over on Skylar. Like, when they were, like, trying to get his son on his side. He went out and bought him that sports car. This is before she knew how he was getting the money. No, but then, like, she made him take it back. And then he was doing something, like, donuts in a parking lot. And then it, like, he sat down and then it set off. It, like, caught on fire somehow or something like that, I thought. Anyway. So.
Giancarlo Esposito is doing Parish,
that's it.
And Bob Odenkirk is doing Straight Man.
Yeah. So.
I'll tell you, when you were talking about, when you mentioned Apple TV Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh man, I should, is this one I should go back and sign up for that? But then I remember, no, I just signed up for Paramount Plus. I don't want to get another one.
What'd you sign up for Paramount Plus for?
Because I wanted to watch the Beavis and Butthead movie.
Now you gotta watch the TV show. You're paying for it. Might as well
I'm watching the TV show, and they're 3 episodes deep, and it's good.
I'd tell you to watch Halo, but I don't know if you'll watch it.
I don't know. I feel like he would like the beginning and the... I don't know. I think he would like Halo. I don't know how much he would like it. But I mean, again, if you're paying for like a month or 2 of a service and you just want to... I mean, that's why I watched P-Valley, because I completely forgot we were paying for Stars, mentioned it randomly, and then the very next day, Kimberly was like, have you watched P-Valley? And that just happened to be on Stars. So I was like, you know what? Let me go get my money, some money back out of this services. Use these damn services.
I paid the annual price.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, check out Halo.
I mean, all they get on there is like Star Trek this and Star Trek that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and
I
if
should
you're
watch
not,
Star Trek.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say if it's like, if you don't mind the franchise, there's certainly a lot, because they got the Picard show, and then the one with Sonequa Martin Green, and then I feel like there's even a 3rd one now.
Yeah,
the one with... Is that the one with Anson Mount? Or is that Picard?
No clue, honestly.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? Black Bolt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've seen like him in like a captain's chair or something. And I think there might be 3.
Yeah,
but anyway.
I think that's the new one.
Also, but it's canceled now. Paramount Plus also has that Twilight Zone reboot from Jordan Peele. And I think I've watched like a couple of episodes of that.
Season,
and I liked what I saw, but I never went back.
I mean, I'll tell you, all I've watched on there is I watched the Beavis and Butthead movie. Then I was like, oh, they got that Jackass movie. So I watched that too. And then I was like, oh, okay, that's enough. And then they were like, hey, we're making a Beavis and Butthead show. And I was like, all right, I'll watch that.
So you got Paramount Plus to watch MTV.
Yeah, basically. I mean, that was... I've been debating getting Paramount Plus for, however long it's been out. And then finally they were like, it's the only way you can watch this new Beavis and Butthead movie. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll pay for it then.
How much was it for a year?
Oh, shit, like 60?
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
65 or something. I don't remember. Something. It wasn't terrible. It was cheaper than monthly.
Yeah. I was trying to think if there was anything else. Oh, and then, isn't that how we watched Yellow Jackets? No.
No.
That's the Showtime.
Yeah.
Through
the Amazon.
Amazon. Okay. Yeah. Huh. Well, the show.
Y'all gonna watch? So y'all gonna watch the Lord of the Rings show? It's costs $1 billion.
No.
Apparently, it's good.
I couldn't tell you shit about like.
I have like zero. I cannot explain to you how little I care about that entire universe.
Let's say I watched the movies when they first came out. I enjoyed the movies, but I've never watched them again.
I can still barely tell you what those movies were about.
I can't
I
either.
know they had to get that fucking thing to that fucking mountain, and there was like bad people, and there were some elves, and there were some archers who were elves, and there were orcs and monsters, and there was that little Smeagol thing, that little
demon.
Yes,
you
my
basically
precious.
got it.
And that's it. And it was just a lot of walking, and at some point Gandalf died, but then he came back, like as Gandalf the White, I think. And yeah. And Frodo dies. Does Frodo die at the end of the Lord of the Rings?
I don't remember.
Does he become corrupted?
Spoiler! No, he doesn't.
Okay.
Remember, it ends like 12 times. That Return of the King. Remember that?
Shit.
There were like 12 endings to that.
I might have. I'm gonna be dead ass. I remember one of them we went to see in the theater with my parents. Do you remember that? And my dad fell asleep, and I fell asleep.
Because the shit was 3 hours long.
And I was like, "What were we thinking? Why? I don't even. That's like so not even like us. Like, what the fuck? Why did we do that? We went to like an 8:10 show. What the fuck?
I just remember one of them ending with them just fucking walking on grass or some shit like that. And it was just like, oh, you have to wait for the next one.
Oh, wait. Was it the ones where like some trees were fighting?
Yeah, I think that was the end of the
That's
first
the one
movie,
we
I
went to
think.
see.
Yeah, the one you're talking about, Donnie, is Two Towers. That's the second one. it just ends, and they're like, well, that's the end of it.
Right, it's
I'm
like,
not watching that. I'm not watching that. But I tell you what I am going to watch. I'm watching the fuck out of the Hot D. Too much sleeps to Hot D. The Ramin Djawadi.
what the fuck are you talking about?
You don't know what Hot D is?
Now I do.
Oh.
I mean, it's
I was like, Hot D. I was just, it's a P Valley spinoff.
that's what I thought. I'm like, fuck, did I miss something?
What is wrong with you? We have been calling it Hot D in front of you for like days now.
I've
Daddy.
not heard that until just
Oh my god! Even in the group, two more sleeps till Hot D. But
I still have no idea what this is.
House of the Dragon.
Oh, I'm not gonna watch
Because
that.
you know how people
You're not
called
No.
Game of Thrones GOT, so they're calling this HOTD, Hot D. I am super excited for this. The book that it's based on it takes place, I want to say, 300 years.
Yes.
Before the events of Game of Thrones, and it's about, to me, it's one of the more interesting stories, I think, in the universe. Now, I will say, kind of wish they even went back a little bit more, but basically, you know, the Targaryens came from Valyria with their dragons, and they were the dragon riders, and they're the only ones who could, you know, they came over, made everybody bend the knee except the North. So I think this is after, you know, they've already established the Targaryens are ruling Westeros and dragons are plentiful and all of that. I kind of wanted to see how the Targaryens conquered Westeros to begin with, but I'll take this. And that premieres on Sunday. And Ramin Djawadi released one of the songs from the show, from the new show, and it's called The Prince Who Was Promised. And it's so pretty, but it's different. Donnie and I listened to it earlier, and it's like so mellow, like kind of throughout almost the whole thing. And then the last, it's like 4.5 minutes, and then like the last less than a minute, maybe like 30 seconds or so, I was getting like Reigns of Castamere vibes. And then it legit just shifts into the opening of the Game of Thrones theme, which I thought was really, really cool. And considering how this show sets, you know, those events up and stuff, I thought that was cool. So that's another thing, by the way, that we're covering. And if you want Sarah and I to read feedback for, you better get that into feedback at projectfandom.com. That debuts this Sunday on HBO. So.
If that show starts and people are like, oh, it's really good, then maybe I'll check it out. Similar to the way Game of Thrones was, because like I didn't have any interest in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I didn't have any interest in
we
Game
didn't
of
watch
Thrones
it
at
until
all.
like the finale.
You know what made us finally watch Game of Thrones? We got iPhones. Do you remember that? Because we had these little Android phones before that, and when we got our first iPhones, we had we put the HBO app on there, and it was like we were waiting for Game of Thrones to end, because this was back when we were only getting HBO to watch certain things. Like
Right.
now we have it all the time, but before we would cancel it and get it back. And
Probably were waiting for The Wire.
we were waiting for True Blood.
Okay.
And we got it the week before, or 2 weeks before, and we had the iPhones, and we put the HBO app on there, and it was like, let's just see what this, because, you know, we knew people, Kat, our friend Kat was the main cheerleader for that show, but she had read the books. And I was like, no, I'm not really, this is medieval stuff, whatever. And we started watching the first, and I'll never forget, I didn't know what it was about at all. And when I saw that undead, zombie, creepy shit, I was like, I'm in. Because I just thought it was, you know, I didn't know it was dragons and shit. I thought it was just princes and princesses and horses and swords and shit. I was like, I don't care about this. But it looked so good. You know, we were just so amazed that it was our first smartphone, you know, and the quality of the picture and everything. And then we were like, let's put this on the TV. And that's how we kind of got into that. And I think like Megan was talking about it a lot. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't watch the entire first season, and then it was before the second season started, and Megan actually sent it to me on DVD, the first season.
And so you had to binge it.
Yeah, I was like, well, I guess I'll watch it.
Yeah.
And then obviously it was really good.
And we ended up binging the first 9 episodes in that week to be able to watch the season 1 finale live with everybody. So we were like late, but not that late, but still late. Yeah. But I will say, I haven't seen them myself because I was just kind of avoiding it. But Donnie said that the early reviews are pretty good for House of the Dragon. And one thing I really like is the whole, they're not doing like the Double D's did, where they're just writing every fucking thing. They actually have a writer's room. It's a woman showrunner, and they've already said, we're not down with the gratuitous sex and violence against women and all that stuff. So I'm really, honestly, I'm excited to kind of kiki with Sarah once a week, and Matt Smith, and dragons. I'm here for the fuck. There's like, John.
There's over 20, I think they said.
Yeah, and they're distinct. They're like, these are like, you can like these with Drogon, distinct personalities and looks to them and stuff like that. And there's like one shot from the trailer, I think, of like Matt Smith. He's one of the Targaryens, and he's like standing in front of a dragon's like mouth, face, snout, that whole big ass area, and he's like petting it, and it like exhales, I think, through its nose, and so you can see like his hair flying, and it like pushes him. Have you seen the scene I'm talking about? And like he slides a little bit, and his like hands is on its face, like pushing back. Like I was like, what the fuck? I'm down for that. I love dragons. I'm so excited to see dragons on Sunday. Y'all don't even know. So yeah, lots of good stuff coming out. But the show we are here to talk about, you guys, that I don't have notes for.
Kind of dragons.
What?
I mean, they're green.
They're more Shrek than dragon.
Yeah, they're more ogre than dragon. More Lord of the Rings than Game of Thrones. So you guys, y'all gonna be mad at me.
I probably have the same thoughts.
It was okay.
Spoiler alert, I loved it.
I know, but you said you were gonna love it no matter what.
Well, I mean,
we can't trust you. We can't trust you.
If I hadn't liked it, then I would say so. But like, I really liked it.
I liked it. I did not love it. But I don't typically love these until we get to about episode 3. That's just been my experience with Marvel.
Nina, because we had to rewatch the ending because she wasn't feeling well when I was watching it, and when she finished it, first thing I said to her, they should have dropped 2 episodes.
Yes.
I
think people like us needed 2 episodes. Yes. People like us who were just like, okay, all right.
I'll tell you, Dan Slott said that on Twitter.
The Spider-Man Marvel writer.
Yeah, but he's also.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't mean to diminish.
For everybody listening.
Yeah. Just to throw out why he would even be saying yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. And because he said he saw it, and he said that the first episode is very MCU, like obviously it has Bruce in it. And he said the second one, it really gets into like what the show actually is going to be.
Yeah. And I feel like because of that makes sense. I could see that. And because of that, that's why I feel like people like us needed a second episode to kind of feel like, to know like what it's going to, because this on the surface, it wasn't really a show, if that makes sense. It was an introduction.
Yeah, it's a cold open.
Yes, exactly. It's a cold open. It did not feel like a whole episode, to the point where when I got sick, I remember the Eve song starting, and where I got sick in the episode was about where they had to fight and destroy the bar.
Yes.
So from that to the end of the episode, I was just kind of out of it. And I do remember the Eve song and thinking it was a montage scene. I didn't know it was the end credit because I wasn't looking at the TV. And then when, Donnie's like, are you okay? And I was explaining to him, like, what I was feeling. I looked up and I was like, oh, it's over? Because I was like, oh, okay. And I still didn't until I rewatched the end. I didn't get that song that I heard was the end credits. Like how it seemed like it. I laid down and it just ended. But yeah, it's the perfect way to put it. It's a cold open. But yeah, I don't feel like it was the most episode part of it was the whole training kind of. I don't even want to call it training, really. But her stuff with her and Bruce.
This shit with the training, like, I don't know if people are familiar, but like it reminded me so much of Dragon Ball. Where Goku and Krillin are fucking training, even like the fucking rock throwing.
I was gonna say it feels very much like a lot of anime training episodes, arcs that I've seen. Yes, but the rock throwing, yes, I feel like it just felt a little Hunter x Hunter to me. Yeah.
But like they go to the island with the Creeper, whose name I'm forgetting right now. But yeah, like it was just very Dragon Ball. Like that whole sequence, all of it. From after she gets infected or whatever, and the whole time they're like in Mexico, I was like, this is like Dragon Ball. It just felt like so much like Dragon Ball. It was great.
What did you guys think of? Because I don't have notes, we're just gonna do like overall, very, I guess, like informal. Obviously, we'll talk about scenes and stuff. What did you guys think of? Wait, first, before I ask, I guess I probably should set it up. So the episode is basically Jennifer Walters, played by Tatiana Maslany, who was the lead in Orphan Black, a television show that was on. Don't tell me, because this was really fucking with me. Oh, you know what? It was BBC, but we watched it through AMC.
Yes,
but it was on BBC America. That's right. So, John, didn't you watch like the first season of that? No.
No.
Oh, why do I feel like one that I don't remember when it came out. Was this before Megan passed?
Yes.
It was on when she was alive?
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe, did she watch it?
I don't know.
I just feel like this was something I talked about with somebody beyond, like somebody online, like a friend, like somebody that I would be on Skype with talking about TV. Okay. But anyway, Tatiana Maslany plays Jennifer Walters, and she's Bruce Banner's cousin, and she's an attorney, and she becomes it happens a bit differently in the comic book, but she becomes a Hulk after receiving some of his blood. And so this episode is a lot
like a blood transfusion.
Yeah. Yes, in the comics, it's through a blood transfusion.
Sorry,
yeah. No, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And in this episode, there's a lot. I guess we'll talk about the details later about like how it happened for her, right? Because they made it pretty clear. It for a second, John, I was like, are we talking mutants? Like, because he made it seem very clear, like his blood would have killed anybody else.
Yes, and he knew that.
Yeah. That's why he was like so worried. Okay, but so most of this episode though is him kind of counseling her and showing her how to manage her Hulk, but as it turns out, she really didn't need that because it did not work the same way that it worked for him, which is where he had that, it was uncontrollable.
It was a second person.
And it was a second person that he had to learn to like live with, and she doesn't seemingly have that issue. Also, she breaks the fourth wall and this is directly from the comic book as well. And that's it. So the episode basically sets up how she became a Hulk, how she at least initially gets a handle on being a Hulk, and then trying to go back to being this, kind of anonymous lawyer, attorney, and not have it really interfere with her life. And we see from the final scene in this episode that it's going to be a lot harder than she thought to keep this shit separate. Yeah. So that's the episode. What I was going to ask you guys was, what did you think of the CGI, the special effects?
I had issues.
Really?
There was
you guys know I don't pay attention. I don't.
There's some stuff that she looked really good, like when she would transition back to normal. I think they did a really good job with that.
Showing the change, you mean?
Yeah, showing the change and stuff like that. The issues I had were more just like there'd be scenes where her hair would move weird, and you could tell it was clunky in some scenes. Like if this was a Marvel movie. They would have spent, yes, they would have spent a lot more money on this.
Okay, but before John says his thoughts, just really quickly, I'm trying to calm this dog down. 2 things, because I don't want to forget. I think Kimberly H. in our group, Kimberly H. in our group said that she kept saying the CGI hair got to go.
Yes.
So I wonder if that's the issue you're having.
Yes.
And then the other thing was there was an article. When you're done doing that, can you bring me a drink, please? Love you. There was an article that was talking about how the special effects companies that Marvel works with are being basically, they're abused because Marvel is very demanding and particular, and they will absolutely ask for changes. They really don't. The way I read it was they give a fuck about their deadlines. They don't give a fuck about your deadlines.
Or your weekends. Or your nights.
Yes, exactly. So it's like, we want these changes, but we don't want to move the movie date type shit. Like, we expect more of you, but we're not moving too much. And so I think that was, and I think that was in the news because of the trailers for this show that have been released, because I feel like the last trailer we got was during something pretty significant, San Diego Comic-Con, and people were commenting on the difference between that and then the first time we saw a trailer. So, John, what did you think
of the CGI?
Yeah,
I didn't have any problem with it. Honestly, as I was watching the episode today, I was not even remembering that people had commented on it. Like, I was just watching it. Yeah. And it looked fine. It wasn't anything like egregious. It didn't look like the fucking metaverse. Like,
right, I was just gonna say
Mark Zuckerberg didn't pop up.
Right, I was just gonna say, like, when I say I don't pay attention to that stuff, I mean that if I bring up that I think it looked weird or bad, then it
really
must
bad.
Yeah, because like that means that I was out of the story and I noticed something. But otherwise, like you, if I'm just in the story and I don't know, but also child of the 80s. I had the Incredible Hulk TV show.
Yeah, with Lou Ferrigno.
Yes. And that fucking looking like the Michael Myers wig. You know what I mean? Like that fuzzy hair that he had. Mm-hmm. So, but for me with this, honestly, it didn't take me out of it. I noticed things, but I couldn't, because this is not my area though. So I couldn't put my finger on why I was like, okay, I don't think I like that look she just did. You know what I mean? That happened a few times.
Yes.
I will say that I did think it was weird, and I don't know, like, why. But, like, it felt like we saw a lot of her full body, obviously because we had to in Mexico, right? Because they're doing yoga and fighting and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And the transformation at the end, it almost, like, have we seen her change fully? Like, when she was sitting there and she was basically saying, I know how to control my anger, and then she changes and he's like, and she's like, I'm doing this. I mean, like, a full body standing change. Did they show that?
Isn't that what they showed at the bar? Or wherever after the crash, when she first changes, I thought they showed this.
As she's running from him. Is that what we're seeing? I'm trying to remember.
She wasn't running from him, but she was...
Well, she was running... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She was running. She was stumbling away.
Right.
Yeah, I think most of them are, like, over the shoulder, or, like, from her point of view, or, like, so just her face. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I feel like... Well, the reason I say that is because that last change in the courtroom, I think they did that thing where it was her feet, then we saw the hands, but we never saw like the full thing, and I thought that was, I don't know, I just noticed it, and I wondered why they made that choice, and I will say that, like, my first thought was I wondered if that was a special effects thing, like a creative choice to deal with special effects issues, but that could have just been a creative choice, like a stylistic choice, because again, it's not like they've been hiding her body, because I feel like we've seen it. I was just wondering if it was the transformation of the body. The final thing I will say is that shit with Homegirl at the end, that flying kick, that made me mad.
That was kind of...
That made me mad. No, I'm going to be real. That kind of... Why? That made me mad. Why? Why it look so bad?
Yeah, it was just like a slow kick, like anybody could just...
Like I could see the
That
wires.
that one felt like it was intentional, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's not that, I'm just going to be mad. It was so bad. I'm like, is this like a satire? Is this
a joke?
Yeah, I mean, it felt very like
if the TV was
show, you know?
like it was going to pan out and somebody else was going to be watching this on TV. Because I was like, I know this is not what you really serving me, Kevin Feige. What are we doing? I didn't like that. That bugged me. And I felt like it, but I will say that it had to be purposeful because it's Marvel, right? But also because it followed up with what I thought was some pretty kind of clunky, weird delivery from Homegirl. So I'm like, okay, maybe the villains in this are supposed to be kind of hokey. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and for the CGI, like one of the things that I've seen people talk about with this, and I think it makes a lot of sense, is like because of the character design on She-Hulk and what they decided to do is like not make it so Hulk. Yeah. The way that Mark Ruffalo's is. Yeah. It's like she's really in that uncanny valley space where it's really close to looking human. Yep. Which I think makes a lot of sense with the way that they explain how her power works differently from his. Exactly. And the way that she can control it and she doesn't need all that shit.
Because it's not like another person.
She's just 10%. She's just 10%.
Right? Like, that's the difference, too. It's not like she's like a whole other person who refers to themselves in the third person. Hulk smash, Hulk, right. Like, it just, her body changes. Yeah.
Right. So it makes sense that she wouldn't look so hulky as him, but then, like, that does leave them in that position where you know what a human is supposed to look like. Right. That's what the Uncanny Valley is all about. It's like, you know what we were supposed to look like. So if it's not something that's like so like exaggerated like the Hulk is to not look human at all, then like you're going to be like, well, this doesn't look quite right, no matter how good the CGI is. So like with Thanos, like Thanos was great CGI, but there were some minor things about it. But it's like it wasn't intended to look human. You know, it wasn't. It was so far away from being human, and the proportions were so far off that you don't look at it and go, "There's something off about this." Like it, it just looks right because it looks right. And for her, it's just there's going to be that, especially standing beside him. Because you're like, she doesn't look like him, and he doesn't look like her. But now, like, I think you're not going to have them beside each other. I think it'll be less noticeable.
Yeah. She's definitely not as hulky as she is in the comic book, and like
some designs.
Some. I was gonna say, like, I'm thinking of one particular cover in particular. You know what? While we're talking, I'm gonna bring it up. Oh, side note. We'll talk about it more tomorrow. I finished all 30 issues of Paper Girls. I literally could talk about the entire thing and not spoil the show at all. That's how fucking different it is. Holy fucking shit, John. The whole time I was reading it, I was just taking screenshots. Like, I gotta show this to John and Donnie. Do you believe this shit? What the fuck is this? It's so widely different. Anyway, I'm gonna pull up Comixology while we're talking so I can pull up my She-Hulk issues that I have. So, let's let's back up to the beginning because they establish very early on that it is a fourth wall breaking show. She establishes that she's, we learn that she's already a Hulk when the show begins, and she understands that we got questions, so she's going to give us the answers. And a car accident, and they don't spend a lot of time on this, but it turns out it was what was the alien ship?
It started with S.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
But basically, Bruce says, I need to
And this
look
is about
into
him, right?
Right. He said, they're looking for me, and
thank you.
And I got to look into that. And then that's how they ended that.
Yeah, they like delivered like a courier ship. It wasn't even like anything important.
Yeah.
It was like mail.
But that's got to be about Secret Wars, right?
I don't know. I don't even care anymore. Just give it all to me. I don't care. It's whatever y'all got planned. Okay. But their car crashes, and in trying to save him, pull him from the wreckage, Jennifer, some of his blood gets into one of her wounds, and she turns into a Hulk.
I like that he was like, I'm bleeding, get away from me.
Yeah.
Because he was he knew.
Yeah. And he had he had made a device called an inhibitor, I think, and it was on his arm because and that's what kept him from changing. Yes. Right?
That's how he could control it.
Right. But I mean, that's why, like, when the accident, it wasn't like an automatic thing or anything. Right? And that's why he's bleeding.
Yeah, that's why he's able to bleed.
Right, because he's Bruce. Right.
He's inhibiting his power.
Exactly. And so, she kind of runs off, obviously, freaking out. And when she wakes up in the woods, they crash, right near, a subdivision and a strip mall or some shit.
I thought it was like a strip club, or
I was like,
know.
What is this? It just didn't seem like it was as isolated as I thought at the beginning.
Donnie's been watching P-Valley too much.
Right?
Seriously.
I'm like, shit. Where's the pole?
And then she runs into. I just want to say, for the record, this is serious drunk white girl behavior in this bathroom, and the fact that they threw some POCs in there is fine, but this is. Nobody tries to be your friend harder than a drunk white girl in the bathroom. Oh my God. They gonna compliment what you wearing. They gonna ask your name. They gonna ask who you here with. They gonna try to talk to you. They gonna want to know if you want to try their lipstick. Like, bitch, why would I want that? But they gonna do all of that because they are drunk and white and super fucking friendly for some reason. Honestly, it's super annoying, but that's when I find white women the most tolerable. I'm being honest.
I used to drink more often.
Right. Annoy me in public bathrooms.
I felt like this scene had a lot of if I haven't heard.
Is that I'm sorry, is that the last one? Okay.
But I felt like this scene I was wondering if this had a lot of hidden stuff in it, because when she's walking into that bathroom, she stops for a little bit and there's a QR code on the wall.
Yeah,
and I wondered if that worked. And I haven't seen anybody try it or even say anything about it. And then when she goes in the bathroom, there's a dry erase board behind her. Mm-hmm. And I swear I see the Miss Marvel symbol. But I was wondering if you pause it and you look at that, if there's any kind of hidden stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to send you guys a picture. Nico's in there losing his mind. So you can see just how hulky she is in the comic book. So she turns for a second time when she's being harassed in the parking lot. And I like this because, the scene ends with Hulk, tackling her.
Yeah, this,
he saved those men's lives.
Yeah. I like how this entire episode is, men suck.
Yes.
I like it.
And they're probably this is so woke. It's too woke.
Oh yeah, there are absolutely guys out there who are like, this whole thing is men suck, but they're saying it bad. But I like this, it opens with the dentist guy, I should deliver the closing arguments, and it's yeah, okay, man. And then obviously these street harassers outside of the bar.
We're just being friendly.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're just being friendly. Yeah. And then fucking Bruce is kind of a mansplainer, and like in a very tolerable way. But like he does have his moments where it's like, dude, like shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but that was just great. The way I just tagged you on Twitter, John, the one of the covers. Donnie, did I show it to you?
No.
This cover in particular. It kind of reminds me of, it's like her standing like on a date and standing in front of this guy who's clearly like, you know, much smaller than her. But it reminds me of our friend Ryan and his fetish, where
just put Ryan on Front Street. And his fetish, who is he, Bob Odenkirk? Okay, go ahead.
Well, Ryan likes feet. No, I don't know. I don't know if Ryan likes feet. Yeah.
He just started some shit.
I know, right? This would be the first one he listens to with his girlfriend. It's like, what the fuck? Is that, are they talking about you? I know they ain't talking about you.
He say his last name.
Yes, Ryan R. I almost said the full thing. I'm not trying to get my ass kicked.
So they're talking about you. No. No. His last name is.
I don't give a fuck. That's my friend. If his girlfriend is listening, she knew. I was here first. I've been his podcast friend for years. Shit. I could joke about his fetishes. Anyway,
It's not a joke, to be clear. It's not a joke. He's very...
No, this is real. I'm about to out... This is a real one. The feet thing I was making up. But thick, muscular women. Well, he calls them his muscle mommies. So when they had Donnie, why is that fan off?
I think Jack unplugged it.
Jack, I'm about to die. They're over here trying to kill me, John. What was I saying? Oh, when they were doing promos for Thor: Love and Thunder, and it was Natalie Portman and Tessa Thompson, and then there was these promos for this. He was like posting them in the group, and there's the part of the trailer for this where she like picks up the guy like in a fireman hole to like take him to the bedroom, and Ryan was like, "This guy is living my dream." Anyway, so this picture that I posted on Twitter kind of reminds me of that. And they don't have her looking this bulky.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I'll put it in the show notes for you guys.
Yeah, on the show, she's more like the original designer She-Hulk.
Yeah. But yeah, so he
Which is less, like, muscular and more for the male gaze, honestly.
So he takes her to his island lab that Tony made for him.
That's between some of the movies, I don't know, I guess.
Yeah. And then they had their names etched in the bar that they built together. Well, Tony mostly sat around complaining about Steve.
And drinking.
But it's like BBTS in the bar. But she wakes up there and he explains everything that happened to her and what this means. And he thinks she's going to stay there for 15 years training. He lonely. She's like,
He's lonely, and then, like, he gets so jealous. Like, there's so much jealousy.
It's male bullshit. And let me tell you why I know it's male bullshit. And I'm glad they're giving that to him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm glad that they're not making him perfect. That it bothers him a little bit that she's so good at this stuff and how fast she's getting at it. One of the reactors I watched, 4 guys, when they were fighting, one of them was like, she's so lucky he's in control, or something like that. Like, to imply that she wasn't also kicking his ass. Like, just let her have that. And so, like, I thought about that, and I was like, oh my God, we're already going to get another on the normies, which is like, it's blended. There are women and men on the couch. And when they do the thing where she throws the rock farther than him, and then he picks up a rock boulder, and he throws it when she did it better than him, everybody in the couch was like, ah. And then when he did that, one of the guys was like, yeah, you see that? You see that? Like looking at the women. And I'm like,
but he can't control himself? Yo, yeah, I see that.
Right. No, he don't see it that way. He sees it as, look, he is better than her. And I don't understand why we continue to fuck with y'all. I really don't.
That's the thing is, like, I love, because, like, you can't have the same fucking character twice. Like, that's bottom line.
Right.
Like, so, like, beyond anything else, like, it makes so much sense to have her be different from him. Mm-hmm. But, like, the way that she's different is so interesting because it allows her to now go and have a normal life that he can't have. Mm-hmm. It's like, you can't have this fucking show without her being different.
Yep. So, yeah, the whole the training bit, I like the bit in the, like, that little chamber with the saws, and she's like, why the fuck do you even have this, you psycho? Like, what?
What do you normally use this for?
Right? Like, what the fuck?
I love it sorry, I gotta say this. When she's in the chamber and he's like, you need something emotional to trigger it, and she starts talking about Pixar.
Yes.
And she's like, when Bing Bong jumps out of the wagon and Inside Out, and I was like, why are you doing this to me? I was like, why you just hit me out of nowhere like this? So, that's like the most emotional moment ever. Just have her throw it out like it's nothing.
So I have to interrupt because Ryan, I posted that photo and I tagged Ryan in it on Twitter, and the photo is She-Hulk, like, dressed up for a date, and the guy's going in for a kiss, and she's basically mushing him the way Hulk mushed her in this episode. He had his hand on her head, keeping her at a distance. She's doing that to him, and above his head it says, "Is love in the air for Hulk?" And she says no, and then Ryan commented, "I don't need it to be love." I told you. Anyway, but I like also in that scene in the chamber when she rips off the door, like, I thought that looked cool. It just looks so effortless for her.
Yeah, and he's like, yes, no.
Yeah.
And I loved it because then she gets out and he's like trying to calm her down, and she's like, why are you talking to me like I'm a stray horse?
Yes. And I like that because that's the reveal that this isn't, like, she maybe wasn't going to kill those guys. Like, all we saw her do was turn around and scream at them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was the first us seeing that she doesn't need him to talk to her like that. She doesn't need the lullaby. She doesn't.
He was so awkward when he talked about that lullaby.
Yes.
He was like, Natasha, she's gonna give you a lullaby sometimes.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And when he said, like, the emotions you need to tap into, what did he say, like, fear and anger? She was like, those are, like, the baseline emotions of just being a woman. I was like, girl, talk. And when she brought up, when she talked about how she has to control her anger, right? Otherwise, she would be labeled as emotional or unstable or literally murdered, right? I'm so glad she said that. I'm so glad that they wrote that into the show. And again, they're already crying that it's too woke. But it's true.
Yeah, I mean, that's I like. I don't know, how do I say this? Fuck them, but but no, really, like, you know, there's a certain point where I was like, oh yeah, like, maybe they could come around, but, like, eventually I was like, fuck them.
Yeah.
And so, like, but I like that Marvel is doing it, not for me, not for people my age, not for people older than me or other men who are out there, but, like, this is a show that kids are going to watch. And so I like that kids are getting exposed to this shit. Like, that's, like, it is kind of like on the nose writing, right? Like, it's something that, as someone, I'm, 35, I don't really need that,
right.
to have seen it, but like, and if I was a piece of shit and I would already know that, and I'd be ignoring it anyway.
Right.
But I like that this is a show, that it's a Marvel show, kids are going to watch it, and that's what you should be, like, because like there are parents who aren't fucking teaching that to their sons.
Nope.
And so they're watching their Hulk show and they get it there.
Watching their Hulk. It's like giving the kid the smoothie. It's like, you'll get your vitamins this way. Fuck it.
Right? It's like, just stick the pill in the hot dog and shove it down their throat.
So yeah, they end up having this fight over her wanting to leave, and he was being a little mansplaining, he was being very much a man, I should say, and she lashes out being, a bit mean, but I like later she was like, I'm sorry I said those mean but true things.
It's like an apology that's not really an apology. It just doubles down on the things you said.
She's like, I meant that shit. Don't you forget it, shit.
I mean, that's some shit that he needs to hear.
Yeah,
that is another way for his. Like, I do get the feeling that he's not going to be on the show anymore. And I don't know if they've confirmed that or not, but like, that's what it feels like. It's just like he was a one episode thing. But like, it does feel like there was a lot to mine there with the two of them interacting. But I don't know if that's like the show that they're trying to make.
Right. I don't. What's interesting to me is that it's interesting to men that he won't be around. The possibility of him not being around. They're like, I don't know if you saw the tweet, but somebody retweeted the comment, like them saying it'll be interesting to see how she does without Mark Ruffalo around. It's like she didn't fucking carry her own series in which there were literally scenes in that show where there were like 6 people in the room and she was all of them. Okay?
I was like, I don't know if she can carry this show. It's like, she carried that show 8 times. And
I'm like, there were like times when I'll never forget one year, Orphan Black at San Diego Comic-Con, and Tatiana being up on the stage talking and something, and like her and some other cast members, and I caught myself thinking, I wonder if the other actresses get jealous. Then I was like, you dummy. There are no other actresses. All the Mother Bird, that's her. She's fucking amazing. So yeah, I don't like, I honestly, like, Mark Ruffalo's Mark Ruffalo. The Hulk is the Hulk. This is the problem with social media, is like, you now see the actors too much sometimes. You know what I mean? So occasionally, they'll tweet a thought and you're like, oh, oh, okay. Did you have to ruin it? And over the past year or two, he's tweeted some questionable shit in the way that white people who think they're above it all do. The well-meaning white folks can put their foot in it a few times, and he's done that. But like, and the Hulk is great and all, and he's been great, but I don't need him to come back. Like,
no,
let her have her show.
Yeah, exactly. It does feel like this just set up the show.
Yeah.
And I think that when he was talking, like, I saw, when did I see it? I think it was like, I don't remember, it was like an advertisement, but like an interview advertisement, like on Twitter or something. And I think he mentions like, yeah, I'm there, I'm handing off the torch to Tatiana and that kind of thing.
Yeah, good.
It's like, I think that was, it's like the plan is just for him, like, to not show up. He might be like in the finale or something, like.
Yeah.
But he in the bulk of the show, he's not going to be there.
I mean, and we're going to get Daredevil. So everybody calm your tits. You're going to get a little testosterone. For those of you who need it. But, yeah, we get all caught up in, how this is going to work for her, and the fact that she can control it off and on. And she then has to do that when a woman literally, quite literally, like the fucking Kool-Aid man, just bursts into the courtroom. And she has to change to take that very terrible flying kick. I'm so offended. And save the day, and that's the end of it. Now, the running, not even running joke, but like when we first see her on vacation with Bruce, she's saying something that I have been saying, because I'm ridiculous, for years, that Captain America was a virgin. I don't know why I was so invested in this theory. And apparently she was as well. And so it comes up a few times throughout the episode, and then the stinger, it's confirmed that Captain America
fucks. And it was so weird the way that Bruce like busted that out, like that knowledge.
Yes.
Like it felt very like
matter of fact.
Yeah, it was like Terminator. You know, it was like the way that like in the year 2019, Skynet became self-aware. It's like, well, in the year 41,
he said it.
Captain America fucked.
He said it like it was a fact listed in that Captain America exhibit.
It's on the monument.
Yes, like everybody who's been to the monument knows this.
And I mean, I kept like waiting because he says like it happened on a USO tour. And I'm like, well, what about like when he went back in time and lived his entire fucking life? Like, did he do that?
They don't know that, right?
Yeah, like he gave
but nobody knows that he went back.
Falcon was the only one that saw him
as an old man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he just didn't tell him?
I'm assuming he didn't.
Shit, he should tell him.
That he went back, he's just knocking boots.
Yeah, he went back in time and he lived for like 60, 70 fucking years. Like he's like 100 years old sitting on a bench. And I mean, he had to have fucked. I mean, that's why he went back.
Yeah. So I will update on Ryan's fetishes.
Yeah, he does like feet.
I said... Yeah, what do I look like if I just now in this Twitter thread? Do you like feet? I said, we're recording now. We've been talking about you. He goes, I'm down bad right now and just need a muscle mommy. Honestly, I told you he calls them muscle mommy. Anyway, let me check for feedback real quick. I think you said at the start, this is 8 episodes, right?
And I looked it up. It's 9.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, again, yeah, duh, I keep forgetting. Okay, you know what? I really need to delete feedback for other shows because now it's just clogging up. And this is for... No. Get out of here, John. No, we don't have anything yet.
No, what I do? I have nothing. I will say a couple things. I like the way that, like, it felt like, I know this is supposed to be like a less serious show, it's like a sitcom, but like the way that Bruce he was like forcing his trauma onto Jennifer. He was like, it felt like it was like generational trauma. It's like, no, I did this, I've been through this before, now you have to do the same thing. It's like, no, I can break that chain. I can be different because I don't have to go through the same shit that you went through. You know, it was that kind of thing. It felt kind of like that.
He said, I had to pay off my student loans, so should you. He's one of them liberals.
I was like, no, I think that it should be canceled, but just pay me back.
Right. That would be nice, right?
I want a refund.
And then the other thing is, like, I really like the repeated, like, mention of Tony.
Yeah.
And, like, in his friendship with Tony, like, between movies, like, the fact that they did know each other, like, outside of the stuff that we saw. And then, so, like, they built up to when they're fighting, when Bruce and Jennifer are fighting, I'm like, oh shit, they broke the bar.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that really did, like, I was like, oh man. And then he was like, oh, my bar.
That's why I like too when he was like, you're fixing it. Like, you get that this wasn't like, yeah, he's a fucking Avenger. Right? Like, but this meant something to him. He's like, you fixing this. Next thing you know, she's standing there holding up the roof.
And that's what I meant. Like, he does have very mansplainer tendencies in the episode, and like he's a very man in the whole thing. Mm-hmm. But like their relationship is very clearly family, and like two people who've known each other, two people who are friendly with each other. You know, like they love each other.
Yeah.
Like that kind of. So like when he's like, you're fixing it, it wasn't like there was no anger.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah.
So like ironically, like there was no anger between them in that moment. It was very much like a familial.
It was. I was about to say it was very sibling-like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I like their interactions, and he did like as much. He felt like he did feel like an older, like there's like a generational gap where like he was just an older guy, like an older brother who's like, you know, treating his sister that way, you know.
So that's it. I don't yet know. I don't know about you guys, but based on the cold open of this episode, the whole cold openness of it all, I haven't yet. I don't know that I can make a decision as to whether or not this should be covered one episode at a time. I haven't seen enough. Because the show really hasn't started, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I would propose that we meet back here at the same time next week and we talk about episode 2 and we see how we feel then. If we think that the plot, the pacing or whatever is going to demand weekly, or if we're going to try to do 2 at a time or whatever. I'm super flexible on that. But we will be watching and covering. I enjoyed it enough for that. And like I said, these shows, for whatever reason, just about that 3-episode mark. But since this is a half-hour show, I wonder if it will take like episode 5 or 6.
Episode 8.
I was like, oh man, we're just getting started.
I was like, I guess I like it, I guess.
Can't wait for episode 10. Oh man.
So, yeah. John is going to, at some point tomorrow, watch 2 episodes of Paper Girls that Donnie and I have already watched. And we're going to be recording for that. Still can't get over how fucking different that shit is. I get why it's different, but it's so different. And like I said, Hot D kicks off. I'm such a child. House of the Dragon kicks off this Sunday, and Sarah and I will be covering that. At the same time or so that this is going up, I think Kaylee and I have more K-drama coming your way with Itaewon Class. We're actually watching episode 6 now. So lots of good stuff coming up. As always, thank you for subscribing. If you were listening to this for free, it's because... Anybody want to help me out? Why would they be listening to this for free when it's a premium show?
Because this is the first episode of the show.
That's right.
The new show we're covering.
And the first taste is free.
First taste is free.
There you go. I learned that on P-Valley. No, just kidding.
Nah, you learned that on The Wire.
I learned that as a child.
I learned that as a child on the street. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time.